All right, Deanna, here we go. Whew. We're officially recording.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the post-holiday Take a Breath and Keep on Going show today.
Hey, I like that.
There we
Take a
go.
breath and keep on going show. I'm writing that down.
Okay.
That's exactly our title. Take a breath and keep on going show.
It's a busy time of year for so many people, and God, I know I need to take a breath. I'm like, I'm good for a couple days on the couch watching television for some.
Yeah, it was, we did a lot of baking. Actually, my friend did a lot of baking, and I had a minimal contribution, but I did contribute a little bit. So anyway, and then just all the get-togethers. It was
Yeah.
fun. This year was actually a very good year over here in my world, and it was really good, and I'm very happy about that.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I did some
Yeah.
baking, but it all failed, and I don't know why. All my cookies came out extra crispy to the point that you couldn't bite them. So I think it's the heat setting in my oven because I have a thermometer in there. But did I bother to look at it to see if it matched up with what I set the oven to? Nah, I just threw all the cookies in and just made more. So
I'm
it,
laughing
it,
because that's so something I would do.
it was not a good cookie year. When my kids were little, I mean, I would make 10 or 15 different kinds, dozens and dozens. I'd have them stacked and I'd just start giving them away to everybody. Now that it's just me, the kids are grown up. I was like, well, oh well, live and learn. Not that
Yeah.
I like wasting things, but you cannot eat a rock, even if it does taste like a ginger snap. So yeah, yeah. So I make
You can't, that's funny. You can't eat a rock even if it does taste like a ginger snap.
there you go. There's your wisdom from Deanna today. But I
That's
make
freaking hilarious.
these little cute little mints that I got from the 1966 uh Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, I think. You know, the one that's like red and white checks, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
I think she got it as a gift. Um, and all you do literally is you mix cream cheese and confectioner sugar and peppermint flavoring. And my kids go nuts for those. They have loved them since they were little. It's the first thing that they ask for every year for Christmas now that they're in their 30s. And they're horrifically bad for you. But once
Yes.
it's just cream cheese and sugar, how,
Wow.
yeah, but once a year, they love them.
Yeah, once a year.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's kind of that was my motto this year. I was like, well, it's only once a year. This is okay. I just kind of did whatever.
That's an important thing because if you're not allowing yourself some freedom, all you're going to do is at some point it's going to snap and you're going to go way overboard on whatever it is, eating or drinking or even other things, shopping, whatever. If you don't say, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to do this once and then stick to that, it's like you're letting off the pressure in a pressure cooker or something or an Instapot or whatever. Um,
An
because it
Instapot.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pressure
it does.
cooker. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. And then you have all this stuff inside you and you're like, well, it's like why diets don't work because they're all built on withholding from yourself until the magical time comes that you get to whatever weight you want. And then as soon as you get to that weight or even before, you're like, well, I did this, so I'm going to reward myself and then reward myself and then you gain weight. Even with
Hmm.
diets, it's got to be like a lifestyle change. And even that you have to buy into, but it can happen with shopping. It can happen with anything really that we do to meet our whatever needs those are, you know? So yeah, once a year, eat the freaking mint.
Eat the
Eat the freaking mint. Well, now
Wow.
I used to have this thing one time when I worked a long time ago. I worked in a large department and somebody was retiring, right? So they bought her this huge sheet cake, right, with all that buttercream frosting and the flowers and I'm watching my coworkers and they're like, well, I'll just have a little piece and let me just scrape off this frosting. frosting. And I'd be like, if life hands you an unexpected treat, eat the frosting. What the heck?
I
So
agree.
I kind of live by that motto that if you get something, you can't withhold from yourself all the time because and I mean I'm talking about things like that. I'm not talking about like stopping
Gluttony.
yourself from hurting somebody. Well, gluttony or
That's a
go
whole
down
nother
that
ball
list
game.
of sins. But yeah, it's like things that like they call that what's that thing that people do their like I deserve a little treat because I did this or this, or I get a little
Hmm.
treat because I did this or this. Little treats add up. So just be moderate.
Oh, yeah.
Just be moderate. Anyways, I lost track of where we were going. By the way, my cat seems to be joining us tonight like usual, so you'll,
Ah,
you'll hear her. She's in here meowing and walking around me.
and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. So let's talk about some recuperation.
Mm.
Mm.
This is
Speaking
ginger
of
ale, by the
taking a
way.
breath and keeping on going,
Yes.
um, what does your version of recuperation look like?
Ah,
I have
um,
numerous.
um, it depends on what I'm recuperating from. I think that
Yeah.
if I'm like right now from a really busy couple weeks at work and a lot of long days at work, and then all of the preparation for the 2.5 hour Christmas wonderment that we have over here every year.
Mm.
My recuperation is really just watching this crazy baking show on Hulu that I love, and I don't remember what it's called again, but it's really good. And so I stopped work for like 45 minutes today and just went and watched some television. It was like too much, and technically that could be a lunch break. But other things too. I mean, depending on what you're recuperating from, like if you're recuperating from like emotional things, I recuperate by writing or by walking or by meditating or things like that.
Mm.
But when it's something that's taking up a lot of mind power and a lot of, all the baking and all the stuff I was doing, I just need a couple days just not to think. That's kind of how I do it. What do you do?
Definitely TV sometimes. I'm definitely a TV person sometimes. I think a lot of people do because it kind of gives us something to focus on without having to think, and we can just kind of get wrapped up in somebody else's world for a while,
Yep. It removes us.
and we
Yep.
can just let the body rest
Hmm. Agreed.
without the mind interfering for a change.
Hmm.
But definitely writing,
Hmm.
walks,
Yep. Look at that.
girl, walks.
Well, you have nicer weather than I do. Just put it out there that
I
I'm in
had to come back to nicer weather
state.
because you know what? I learned that my mental health, I have to be able to be in an environment or climate, in a climate that I can get out and walk.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because when I was in New York, those 2 years, man, that struggle was really hard. So
You can go out and walk, but you have to
I
put
give my
light on
hat
your
off.
boots and wear coats and yeah.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, man, okay, there's a whole nother type of Northern strong,
Hmm. Yeah,
because
I
to
personally
be
don't
able
have
to
it.
to
I've
be
lived
able to
here all my
deal
life.
with those winters, man, it is not easy. It is
Yeah,
not. So
yeah,
recuperation, I don't know, sunshine.
I get that. People talk about those lights that they get that imitate the sunlight to give.
Yeah, over the visors.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's
that's
important too. I mean, what's the saying? If the way I think is, oh, it's a great thing. If you can't make your own neurotransmitters, synthetic ones are fine, or something like that. I'm all about do what you have to do to feel better, and but just make sure you do something, right? I mean, you can't just
I agree.
and sit in that feeling because again, it's that whole pressure cooker thing starts up again. You're just like you're tense and you're wound up, and everything snowballs.
You
Snowball, New York.
know,
Yay. Actually, it's warm today. It was up in the 30s, which is so much, it's probably 20 degrees warmer than it was a week ago. So, and we're just getting started. So,
go
yeah.
on with your tough self. Uh-uh. That is not a game I can. That's not for Ronnie. Can't
Mm,
do it.
yeah, I might retire somewhere warm. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's because the winters are so long. Like you guys have long winters in New York. It's a lot.
But it's starting later. At least, I mean, everybody says, oh, when I was a kid, back in the
Oh
day,
yeah,
we walked
of
barefoot
course.
uphill both ways to school in the snow. But it did seem like it does seem like winter starts later because we get cold before Christmas, but this
So
is the
much
first year
later.
we've had snow on Christmas in a while. And it used to be a lot more prevalent. I
I
think that
remember last year
confinement
it's in Albany. I don't know about Rochester, but I know last year in Albany it snowed for Thanksgiving.
probably here too, but by Christmas it was doom.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing down here in Texas, is it's December and the most I've had to put on was a long sleeve shirt. I haven't even had to put on a jacket or anything yet, which is, usually by now we're wearing jackets, and or a sweater, not a lot. I agree, but you can definitely tell the lateness. It's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, here, I cranked my heat up today because it was just too cold for my little dog. So I'm
Hmm.
wearing a short sleeve shirt because I want my dog to be comfortable. But, I'm still out in the boots and a hat and winter coat when I'm walking her, um, for very short walks because she's a very small dog. But yeah, I am not and never have been a fan of the winter. Like,
Mm.
in seventh grade, eighth grade, seventh grade, we took like class ski trips to Bristol Mountain, like this huge mountain not too far away that you can go skiing on. And there was a big skiing trip, and everybody looked forward to it except for me. Always managed to get sick on that day and never had to go. And we did cross country skiing, and they were like, okay, bring your snow boots, bring your snow pants. Nope, always forgot them because no, the answer no, I'm not going to go outside and have fun in the snow. I can go outside in the snow or I can have fun. Both doesn't happen simultaneously.
Hmm.
But some people love it. I mean, this time of year, I know people, this is their favorite time of year. They want to be out. They don't want it to be hot. They don't want it to be, that whole muggy, because the other side of having snow up here is the humidity that we get in the
Mm.
summer. So, I don't know. I guess it's whatever my grandmother used to say, whatever flops your mop. Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat. Yeah,
Yeah. Floats your
same
boat,
thing.
flops your mop. Yep.
Flaps your mop. That's funny. That's a funny one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have. So it's interesting. What came to mind for a second was as we're talking about recuperation with all the things that go on in the mind, as I was going through some of our videos like we were talking about earlier. Um, one of the things that I was saw in the video that came through that I really paid attention to was when you are chaotic in the mind, a good thing to do is to turn to somebody else and ask, what can I do to help
Hmm.
whenever you're chaotic in the mind? And I don't know, I wonder if that kind of coincides with some recuperation, maybe.
Do you mean ask somebody else how you can help them? Or,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. I mean, service to
Mm.
others is
Yeah. Service of
ultimately
others.
service to self. The more that, I mean, when you help somebody, you're helping yourself one way or another. Like when I do healing, I get the
Of
benefit of the energy, the same as the people that are receiving the healing, because I'm not
Exactly.
doing it. It's spirit or energy or universe, whatever you want to say. So yeah, losing oneself in the service of others is a
Yeah.
way to help yourself. But what you have to be careful of is that you don't get lost and stay there because then all you're doing is adding more. Like, oh, I was talking to somebody about boundaries. It was probably during the reading I was doing. And I was talking about how it is 100% wonderful to give and to help take care of others and to do all these things, just like we do at the holidays, right? We give and we do, and we do all this stuff with joy in our heart because we want to help people. But when it gets to the point that you're helping people is actually causing you to carry their burdens home with you, then you don't have that boundary.
Oh, okay.
And so when you go help someone, you do help yourself as long as you can set the boundary that doesn't have you bring it back with it. I
Hmm.
mean, it's okay to think about someone, to pray for someone, to worry even a little bit. Worrying is, I don't know everything about worrying, um, but not to incorporate into yourself, because how can you help, right? When you're on an airplane, you put the oxygen on yourself first, and then you help the person next to you. And it's the same way with anything, is that you're not any good to anybody else if you're completely depleted yourself. So going out and helping and being in service is insanely important. And it's how the world goes around, and it's what we're here for. At least it's what I'm here for. And but to do it to a point of a detriment to yourself is where you end up feeling worse than you did when you started. And you also are not really helping someone if you're doing carrying it and doing everything for them, because you help by teaching. You help by giving, but then you help by teaching, right? Like feed a man and he'll eat for a day, teach him to fish and he's going to eat for a lifetime.
Right, right,
So
right.
you have to be careful that you're not absorbing all of it, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And as you were saying that, where my mind went was, I wonder if that's why a lot of people don't do a lot of community service for an extended amount of time is because they don't know how to separate,
Very possible. Very possible.
even if they don't realize that themselves.
Hmm.
I
Sure.
wonder.
But I mean, I'm not saying not to
Hmm.
help people, because
Well,
that's
of course not.
not
Of course
helping
not.
people is how the
But
world works. But yeah.
yeah, but maybe it's some of that, subconscious unknowing, to your forefront mind that this is all you can do.
Or it's the feeling that I can't do enough, so I'm not going to do anything. I mean, there's the defeatism
Oh yeah.
that people will say, well, I'm not going to go help because I'm just one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a whole person.
You're a whole human.
Can help somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a line, and that for healers, it's really important. Is when I'm doing a healing or I'm helping someone, I'm not absorbing their energy into my own energy field. I am aiming the healing towards them or wherever spirit's aiming it, but not it back into myself. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
and
Right. Right.
and in my career, when I've counseled people and helped people in hard situations, um, I have to be able to maintain a sense of objectivity. I have to be able to be the one that people can rely on if something goes haywire, because they're looking at me for the assistance. So I can't afford to get lost in that. It's possible I learned those boundaries very early, and I don't know if everybody can really do that. I mean, this could go into a whole hour conversation, because from that you jump off into, well, what if your boundaries are too tight? Does that make you unfeeling? Well, we don't have to go there unless you want to. Beyond boundaries.
Well,
But yeah,
um, hmm. I lost my train of thought
it's okay. It comes down to, yes, if you are feeling
because
very
I would
burnt
then my brain the thought that I had before you said or we could squirrel this way, my brain started squirreling as soon as you said or we could.
yeah, yeah.
And so I was trying to bring it back and I lost all the thoughts. So here we
Well,
are.
it's helping people as a means to help yourself.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say is because I've always been able to do that myself. I
Set the
wonder,
boundary.
yeah, I wonder if it's just a natural thing.
I
Hmm.
don't know. I mean, I
We're
used to
gonna have to we're
I
gonna have to
used to
get some
cry at
people.
soap opera commercials. I used to
Oh
cry
God.
at,
I st
Folgers commercials. Oh, he came over from college. I'm gonna cry. Not anymore. I don't. And I think because I learned, I don't know that I always had the boundaries. And I think as we get older and we have life experiences teach us what you have to be able to separate yourself from, or at least you have to be able to function among stuff, right?
well,
I
I
mean,
think I was so closed off for so long that it's easier for me to navigate that now because of how closed off I was for so long.
right, your life experiences.
And now I can kind of, gauge that. Yeah. Life experiences. Yeah.
But, you don't want to get to the point where your empathy is gone, right? And I think that it's easy to fall into that feeling of, I have been trying to help for so long, nothing happened, nothing changed that you can see at least. I don't feel like anything changed. I'm not going to be able to do anything, so I'm just gonna stop. But the truth is that it takes all of us all the time, because one drop of water is not going to fill a bucket, but a whole bunch of them is. And I think people
Do you think a
think
lot of
that.
people think like that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
there's more people now, I think, that are coming into a more of a collective mindset, more of a healing collective mindset, because of just the changing of the world and just the evolution of us as spiritual beings. But I don't think everybody thinks that way. I don't think everybody feels
I
that.
was wondering how,
Mhm.
because I was like, I hope a lot of people don't think that way because that would,
Yeah.
I just hope a lot of people, I guess that's where I'm gonna leave it at, is I just hope a lot of people don't think that way because yeah,
Well, that's why we're out here doing what we do, right? That's why we're out here being helpers or healers or counselors or friends or whatever we're doing. We're out there to help, to help build people and let them see one person
yeah,
is able to help.
get
But
the
it's,
word out,
yeah, yeah,
get the word out.
definitely,
Hmm.
definitely.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Food for
All
thought.
righty. So did you have any big ahas over over your holidays? Any real big like,
No, no, I just worked a lot. And what I did do was, I really, we talk about separation and boundaries, is that when I turned off my work computer on the day before Christmas, I was done, and I did not think about it. I did not.
good,
I care about what I do, but I did not think about it. It was not part of my reality, because you have life and you have work, and they are very separate. You might have to work so that you can get the money to live, but your work does not or ought not completely overshadow what you do,
good.
right? And so I've always been good at that work life boundary. And so I shut off the computer, and then it was like, that's it. I don't care if it's only a day, it's a holiday. And that really made a big difference, I think, in feeling better about all of what was going on before the holiday, like the prep and the cleaning. Well, the cleaning wasn't really much. It was the prep, it was the baking fiasco, and it was the the really long hours at work. And I just let go of all that. I just said, you know what, it's good, it's done, whatever. Leave all of that in that corner somewhere where it's not going to bother me. And I just lived in the minute, and that's something that I like to do, is live in the minute, because that's all we have. We don't have anything other than where we are right now.
I
So
think
that was,
that was my big aha this year is I feel like I did really good living in the moment.
mm-hmm,
Just staying
yeah,
focused and being in the moment and present, constantly, you know, making sure and checking in with myself that I was present, like, you know. And I feel like I feel like that had a really big contribution to how cool the holidays went this year.
yeah. I mean, if you can allow your some,
And I
again,
feel like
somebody else,
other people
yeah.
kind of did the same thing,
I
you
think
know?
there's that collective change going on, but
Hmm.
it's still really easy for people to just be so caught up in what they're trying to create that they miss the chance to enjoy what they created, right? And
Mm.
that, I think, is the crew of, that's the main thing of the holiday stress, is you're so invested in making it just the way you want it. I mean, we all do that. If we're going to do something, we want to do it nice. We want to do it right. We want to build our
And our
business.
way, my way,
Well,
because
yeah,
my way
my way or no way.
is the good way.
But you get so busy doing that you totally can't even enjoy for a second what you did create. And what you create is beautiful, but you have to be able to enjoy it, or all you're doing is going into that cycle like we were talking before of give until you're depleted. So, I did
Hmm.
everything I had to do. I set up for Christmas. My kids, their spouses, my parents, my sister, everybody came over, and you know what we did? We just sat around, talked, laughed, ate, had a great time because that right there is what it was about.
That's what it's about right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is just, well, gee, go figure on that. Togetherness.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
Well, so I guess that leads us back to, letting it go and being present could also be part of recuperation.
absolutely.
Ah,
Uh-huh. Yep, 1 minute is the only minute you have. So worrying about the future doesn't matter. Worrying about the past doesn't matter. Just get to the moment that you're in. And it helps. It really does help because
it does.
a lot of people get stressed or get worked up about, not only do I have to do this and have to be perfect, but what if it's not? What if it's not? What if it's not? Or, what if I don't A B C D? What if it doesn't A B C D? Whatever it is that you're waiting for, you're living in the future. And the future doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
What was that I just heard the other day? I just heard something that was so, it really got me. Um, Goodness gracious, how did it go? It'll come to me later and I'll remember it.
Something about
Oh,
living in the moment.
yeah, but it says you do this to wait on that. You do this to, or you work to, you get through school to get the job. You get the job to get to retirement. You get to retirement to die.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the great American work ethic.
And it's like, where is the living in that?
Right.
But
When you pull
the
your,
way, but the way they said it was way better than the way I just did.
well,
Um, but yeah, where's the living in that?
right.
Is your anyway. So yeah.
But that's true. You have to take your moment to get them and you have to really absorb that, absorb the living. I mean, even when you're working, I could still work for 10 hours or whatever, and I'm still going to find things that are fun. I'm going to talk on the phone with a coworker, I'm going to talk on the phone with somebody, or I'm going to listen to a podcast while I'm working or something to bring some life into it, right? I mean, there's times that you have to be focused and you have to do what you're doing, and we all do that. But that doesn't mean you can't carve out those minutes and those moments. And afterwards, like it is a ritual. I shut off the computer, I blow out my candle, which is I light a candle when I start working, I blow it out when I'm done to give myself a concrete
Oh, that's a good one.
finish. Yep, a concrete finish to the day. And then done. Work doesn't matter anymore. I'm not going to think about it. It's a tomorrow problem because I did all I could do today. And there's a poem about that too that I just read, which I also personally don't remember, but if I do ever find it, I will tell you. But
Yeah.
it's like basically what's done is done. The day is
Well,
over. What's done is done. Where are you going to go from here? You're just going to live your moments, live your minutes, live your moments, love your loves, all that stuff I'm always saying on Facebook.
yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have a question for you. So let's think of three. Let's leave everybody with three. What are three ways that if you had to give advice on recuperation, let it go, and how to just be in the moment? What are three things you would say? Three pieces of advice.
Just three. Um,
Oh my gosh, I have a shirt that says just breathe.
remind yourself, number one, remind yourself that you can only live in the present and putting yourself in the future or putting yourself in the past doesn't change either one of those. Future can't be predicted because it changes all the time. Past is already done, right? Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Go outside in bare feet, maybe not in the snow unless you like that, but go outside in bare feet with the dirt between your toes. Feel the sun on your face. Do something to remind yourself of the divine being that you are, the divine spark that lives inside you needs to be
Mm,
nourished. And when you nourish that spark, you remember who you are. So be in the moment. That would be the first thing. Give yourself permission to relax, because that's another thing that most of us forget, that we're actually, fun fact, adults are allowed to take naps. Adults are allowed to eat
Mm.
cookies for dinner. Adults are allowed to say no, I don't want to. Give yourself permission to do the things that help you relax. Give yourself permission to sit on the couch and watch a Netflix show before you go to bed. Give yourself permission to do something that works for you. Do something for yourself, because everything that you put out to other people, you also deserve to bring into yourself, right? So the care that you're giving to other people needs to translate into self-care for yourself somehow, because everything is an energy exchange, right? So you have to give yourself the permission, because that's the society we live in, and give yourself permission to do something for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean go spend all of your money on something crazy and then be broke and live in a box, but it means do nice things for yourself, that little treat, or allowing yourself to take a nap, allowing yourself to say, I'm going to put my feet up for 15 minutes.
Mm.
I'm not going to answer my phone today. So that's the second thing, is give yourself permission to relax. And my cat's totally visiting us here. The third thing, well, there was that book, right? And it came out a long time ago. It was called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's
Oh
all
yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So remind yourself, if you're starting to feel that everything is really big and overwhelming, and that you're getting really stressed out, really ask yourself, how does this really affect the big picture of my life? Right now, there are things that happen. People get sick, terrible things happen, we lose money, whatever. But if you're starting to get really worked up and all the little things are starting to catch up with you, ask yourself, what is this really in the big picture? And how can I break this down into something that isn't so completely overwhelming? Right? So give yourself a minute to say, okay, so I have A, B, C, D, E going on right now and everything, and it's all coming at me and I don't know what to do and it's all here. Cut it up into A, and then B, and then C. So you're not all lumped together with it, and so you deal with
Prioritize.
one, and then you deal with the other, and then you deal with
Mm-hmm.
the other. And not only does that help you when you break it into small things, it's like you cut your food before you eat it. You don't just shove a whole steak in your mouth. But it also helps you gain a sense of control over whatever chaos you're dealing with. And when you have control over it, you are directing it. It's not directing you. I guess that would be the
Mm.
third thing.
Because again, that's all we can control.
Right. Our reaction, the only thing
That's
that's really
all we can control
hmm
is
Right,
us.
right. And you can choose your reaction. It doesn't feel like you can in the moment, but you can. You just have to take that minute, and you have to take that second to breathe and to think, okay, is this how I want to do this? Is this what I want? Is this going to give me the outcome that I want? Nope. I'm going to change the way I look at it. Is it really as bad as I think it is? What's one positive thing I can pull out of whatever the situation is? All those kinds of things can really help decompress you and can really help turn things into smaller bits that you can deal with and take control over. So that's my 3 to 10 things of what to do.
I love it. I love it.
What
I'm
about
good
you?
with
What are
that.
3 things that you would do or say to tell people?
Breathing,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on breath helps me stay focused in the now. So find a way to stay focused in the now. And breathing really helps me do that. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. Grounding, taking your shoes off, put in the dirt or this whatever you can. Get your feet connected to the planet somehow, some way. Grounding.
Yep, absolutely.
Hmm. And three, figure out what you need.
Good.
Just figure out what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Do the work. Figure out what you need.
And one really good way to find that is to ask the universe the magic question, the only question that matters. What do I need to know right now?
What do I need to know right now?
And then listen, because the answer comes You just have to be willing to do it.
Oh, yes, it does.
My mentor and my very good friend taught me that one, and it is so good.
It is a good one.
Mhm. Mhm.
That one and how can I help?
Yep.
Those
Yep.
are those are my two favorite questions to ask. What do I need to know right now? That one and tell me more.
Tell me more, Chloe.
I love tell me
That makes
more.
a good conversation. Yeah.
I love tell me more.
Or and how does that make you feel?
Oh,
That one that opens up a box, but it's a good one.
oh,
I learned that from my
that's
counselor daughter. So
oh yeah, that's
yeah,
a big one.
yeah.
All right, beautiful. Well, I think that's good. I think I feel really good about this. I'm in
I
a good
hope that
place.
something helps somebody out there.
There
That's why
was
we do
something here
what
that needed to be heard,
we do.
most certainly. So, everyone, thank you so much. And we will see you guys in the new year.
And we are planning some more special guests. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. Keeping it on the down low right now until we have everything set up. But we do have more special guests that we're anticipating bringing in to learn about more cool different ways of healing and different things that people do. So we're working on lining up some interesting stuff. And if there's anything that you out there want us to talk about, find out about, share with you, put it in the comments because
Thank you for
we want to make
reminding
this,
me. Thank
yeah,
you.
this is a collective thing. I mean, Ronnie and I can sit here and talk about anything for just about as long as we want to, but we want to
We
make
could
it
talk for a long time.
yeah, but we want to make it interesting
Yeah.
too. So if there's
And
anything that you're
relevant.
interested in, or if you have some kind of a thing that you do you are you a healer? Do you do some type of metaphysical work? What do you do? Let us know, and maybe you'll get to be a guest on our show too, and talk about what it is that you do. So we really want the interaction with us. So we'll leave you with that.
Oh, that was perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
You're so good at this game.
Oh,
That's high
uh,
five. One, two, three. So good. So good.
yeah. All right. We'll see
Thank
you guys
you.
later. Have a great night and a great everything.
Love it. Good night,
All right.
guys.
Bye bye.